Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Writing for Today. So we're still working on descriptions or making pictures in others' minds with words. We are describing nouns, which are people, places, and things. And yes, I'm saying it again, but the more I repeat it, the easier you remember it. So roll your eyes if you must, but you're going to remember this. So we are talking about how we do that. Now, we have talked about adjectives. We have talked about using our senses. Now today we're going to talk about the third idea. Talk about each part. So sometimes when a kid is asked to describe something, they're kind of stuck. They don't really know where to start. If you say describe a cow, they're like, well, it's a cow. I guess it's brown. There's nothing else to say. I guess I'm done. No, you can talk about each part of the cow. You can talk about its fur, you can talk about its horns, its ears, its eyes, its udder, its hooves. There's lots of parts to talk about. So for today's example of how to talk about parts of something, we're going to add a little bit of science in here, which we would have been doing if we were in school. So we'll just squeeze a bit in here. So here we have a flower. Now, if someone asked you, well, describe this flower, well, you could say, okay, it's a red flower with a blue center. You might add that detail, which is good. Now that's good, but that's only one sentence, and that wouldn't be enough. If I said write a paragraph about this flower, you might be stuck. So we're going to talk about each part. Now first, let's review the parts of a plant, because remember, this is also a plant, not just a flower. In fact, the flower is just this top part here. It is only one part of the whole plant. It's probably the prettiest part, but it's only one part. We also have leaves here. We have a stem, and we have the roots down here. Now, when you have a plant that you see outside, you can't usually see the roots unless you pull it out and look at them. But in our picture, we can see the roots. So now, if someone asks you to write a paragraph about this plant, now you have 4 different parts you can talk about. You could make a sentence about each part, and you'd easily get to a paragraph that way. So let me do it as an example. If I said, this plant has a red and blue flower, there's one sentence. This plant has 2 green leaves, there's 2 sentences. This plant has a long green stem, 3 sentences already. This plant has black roots that remind me of spider legs, if we want to get really descriptive and creative. That's 4 sentences right there. That's almost a whole paragraph just from talking about the parts. And you could easily think of 1 or 2 other things to say about it, and then you've got a paragraph just about this. So paragraphs aren't that tricky if you think about all the different ways you could talk about something. So don't be scared off when I talk about writing paragraphs, because you guys can do this. It's not as hard as you may think. It's just putting those sentences together about one topic. In this case, this plant. All right, now I am going to give you a little riddle for your homework today, okay? So there were 6 blind men who were walking through the forest. I don't know why they were alone, but they were. And they come upon a strange object. Now, all of them are feeling a different part of this object. The first man, he feels something that's kind of thick and long, and it's moving. And he says, I know, this is a snake, guys. We found a snake. The second guy feels something kind of thin and large, and it seems to flap very easily. And he says, no, you got it all wrong, guy. This is a fan. Well, the third man is touching something that's very large and round and straight up and down and thick. And he says, no, we got a tree here. I'm feeling the tree trunk right here. Another person is at the other side and is touching something that's very tall. He can't even find the edges of it. It's just so big and firm. And he says, well, no, guys, this is only a wall. I don't know what you're talking about. We have found a wall here. The fifth man seemed to have found something that was long and thin and could move around. And he said, no, we got a rope here. This is a rope, guys. I don't know what you're thinking. And the last guy felt something long and a bit pointy and hard and said, no, you guys are nutso. I don't know what you're saying. This is a spear. So now my question is, who is right, who is wrong, And what are they actually touching? So think about that, and I'll give you the answer tomorrow. See you then.